Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Chiro Secure Show. Is chiropractic in you, or are you in chiropractic? First of all, I want to thank Chiro Secure and Dr. Stu Hoffman for making this show possible and for the invitation, where I can be here and just share my experiences and share um, my walks on life in the chiropractic profession, as I have been an owner of my practice for over 38 years. And and I must say that before, when I start my journey, it was a wish, you know, and to see and to look back and to see what happened, which is the wishes coming true, you know. By from my experience, I'm able to share with all of you. And I really hope that we have a lot of students that they're going to be out of school very soon, and they can infuse with this uh, this show, and they can use it for the practice. Okay, as I remember when I began in practice in 1983, I was fortunate enough to practice with Dr. Joe Accurso, who was my mentor and who taught me a lot, and he's still in my life. He's still, I still think about him all the time, even when I'm practicing, because he was like the picture perfect of a chiropractor that had chiropractic in him. It was his every word he spoke, everything that he was doing. It was using BJ Palmer's principles of above, down, inside, out. And but anyway, it is a great journey, and I'm still in it, and I'm still playing the game. I'm still in the learning, and but what I just want you to know is that chiropractic, there has never been a better time now to be a chiropractor. Okay, and what I did for today's show, I prepared two slides, and maybe we can have slide number one, right? And the slide number one, which say, do you get regular chiropractic checkups? Okay, what does that mean? Okay, if we're talking about, I don't know, starting your practice, which I believe you start your practice every day. Every day is a new day in practice. Okay, and just put that in your head for a minute. Okay, and so I asked a question, which is, do you get regular chiropractic checkups? What is the reason why are you checking out people? You know, why do you go see your chiropractor? I'm asking you, the chiropractor. Okay, or maybe your patients, if they have been educated. Okay, and as you can see on number one, we have to remove subluxation. Okay, and that's what we do. Okay, that's one little part of what we do, but it's a big part. I think the biggest part of what we do, okay, of what we know, is the big idea, and we will get there in a minute. Okay, but who wants to be with a subluxation? Nobody. Okay, a subluxation, I mean, you got to be checked because there is no way you know whether you're subluxated or not by symptoms. So it is important that you have a schedule to get yourself checkups if it's that what you're going to be teaching your patients. Okay, I still have my first patient that's 96 years old. Imagine, okay. Um, so there is you must teach since day number one, get a habit of teaching your patients that what you do is you remove subluxations, okay, and that's something unique that no one else can do it, but us as chiropractors. Now, how do you know you're removing subluxations? Well, you went to school, and you went to school, and probably you were exposed to so many techniques, right? Gunstead, Thompson, Toggle, upper cervical. I mean, so many. I don't want to start, MC2, so many techniques that you should be applying every time you have your patients, okay? And create, and that way you start. And the same way, like I go every week, at least once or twice a week, to my friend Dr. Dana Becher, and he checks me and I check them. And what is so cool is that he has Thompson tables. I do have Thompson tables, and we check each other with a Thompson analysis, and we get clear, okay? And as we are clear, which is number two, okay, we also we well the reason why we get checked is to harmonize our beings and and what is our being? We're mental, physical, and spiritual. Okay, okay. Now that's when we get checked. That's when we get adjusted, right? But the adjustment, like I said, the self-relaxation is a small part. The big part is the ADIO principle that BJ Palmer taught us. Okay, and that's what got all. That's why we're still in practice right now, because the first chiropractors, okay, they needed to believe in something. And believe me, the first chiropractic adjustment, it was not for a sore back or sciatic nerve, as you all know, but they believed on the ADIO principle. That was the big idea, okay? Because by the end of, I mean, the big idea is that life flows from above down inside ourselves and out to the world. Above down inside our mind and expressing our mind, then out to the world. Okay, and that principle has been there for, I mean, for ages. Okay, so by doing that, and the first chiropractors who even went to jail because they were practicing chiropractic, and they were saying you have to admit that you're practicing medicine without a license, and they would prefer to go to jail than to say that they were doing something that it was not. Okay, but look at the depth of what it is to be a chiropractor. That BJ talk about. That's number four. The reason why you get it checked and adjusted if you have to, is to reunite man, the physical man with the spiritual man. Wow, look at how huge it is. You know, looking at some BJ's book, I was, he's talking about when separation occur between the physical and the spiritual, and it was laid out by a Greek philosopher, 500 BC. His name was Thales, Theles, and he stated that the spiritual part of the person should be given to the priest, and the physical part of the person should be given to the physicians. But what do we say? We say that with a chiropractic adjustment, we reunite, we make a whole, because chiropractic is a holistic. It works to make the person whole. Look at how huge. I wonder how many people right now on this age where there is so much stress, so much restless, know that they can get checked through chiropractic and have a better life. Okay? And number five, what I put down is to do the best that you can be. Okay? So, I mean, who doesn't want to be that they can be? And when do you stop being the best that you can be? You don't. You keep on keeping on, right? So, why aren't you, what's the reason that a lot of chiropractors don't get themselves checked regularly? Maybe perhaps their mind, right? Their mind is just drifting different ways. They're too busy, that they don't understand the importance to live your life from the inside out. They don't understand the importance to understand that in order for the outside to be better, you must change your inside. And if there is interference in your inside, there is no way you can change the outside. You know, if you see yourself ugly, the way you're dressing, by looking at this mirror, by going to Walmart and buying a new mirror, it's not going to change it. Okay? You must make the change inside. And I tell you, when you make that change inside, which is started in your mind, and then it goes to your innate mind, okay, and then you express it out, then the beautiful things happening, okay? Because believe it or not, we have the answer for humanity if they can understand our principles, the above, down, inside, out principle. Right now, humanity is so tired, stressed, because they can understand something that don't see, it's going to eat them, it's going to kill them. They've been brainwashed about the sickness, to think about sickness instead of having the understanding of the resistance and the power and the life that resides within us. And it can make a big change if that person is obedient to that principle from the inside. So being obedient to those principles that we have inside is a must. Okay. As chiropractors, who doesn't have the desire to have a better practice, to serve more people, okay, to have a bigger business? We all do. Okay. Why? Because we have those desires. But now we must apply these principles, because all this everything will manifest according to how you are in your inside. One of the things of Dr. Cruz used to say to me, the size of your practice or you being a chiropractor doesn't mean that you have a diploma behind you, okay? Because there's a lot of people, they might have a diploma, but they don't think like chiropractors. Yes or no? Okay? They're still looking from the outside. They're still being controlled from outside things instead of working these principles, being obedient to these principles that we have in the inside. Okay? Now, in the second slide, can we have the second slide? Okay, we have the second slide which says, would your community, who would benefit by understanding all this? And how could we grow our practices, be magnets in our community? Okay, I'll tell you, I have, the beginning of my practice, see, my practice went through so many phases. But if I can tell you, don't ask me how. And I think one of the reasons, what it was very instrumental for me to have a successful practice since day number one and keep on keeping on all the time, it was attending Dynamic Essentials, right, when I was going into school. Okay, when I was going to school, in chiropractic school at Life College, back then, I remember, I'm talking about in the beginning of the 80s, okay, they used to say all the time that when you start your practice, it will take you 2 to 4 years to get out of debt. And you know what? By going to DE and watching all these chiropractors, that some of them that were bigger than me, some of them that were smaller than me, some of them that spoke English, they didn't speak English, they had them all. But they were all talking about success. They were not talking about starving. Okay. And and by just watching them, and seeing, these are different people. Chiropractors, we're different. Okay. We're not better, but we're different. And we have a service to humanity. And let me tell you, humanity is looking for us. They can't live on the life that they're living right now. That's why they feel so stressed out. Okay. So by going to these DE meetings, you know, I mean, it was just normal for me to start my practice and within a month, have a practice where I was seeing 300 people a week. How did I start it? I started going, and back then I was going to shows and along with my two nieces, one of them is a chiropractor in Greece right now, in Thessaloniki. If you're watching this show, Polita, hello. Okay. And I remember going to this there was gathering of a lot of people, and I would bring my spine, I would bring my table, okay, and flyers about where I'm located, and I invite them. Okay, I start my practice. If there's students listening to this show, when I start my practice, I had no money. I borrow money. I mean, I pay. I mean, actually, the landlord gave me like 3 months free rent. Okay, and so just just I walk by faith and not by sight. I just move in, and I start doing it. I start checking people. I start without a CA. Within a week, I needed a CA. Then I needed another CA. Then I start growing. And I started with one table and three adjusting rooms. Okay. Within 2 weeks, I got three tables. Then I started making more tables. Why? Because there was, there was an urgency within me, okay, and that I had the big idea that what I did to my patients, what I did, how I talk to them, how I give my lectures, you know, it was in order to make a change in their life for the better. It was it was part of the to do the best. Okay. So, but I realized, like I say, on these stages, when my first patients, I was learning from them. I tell you, I never had a practice that I depend on insurance companies or in car accident companies. No, it was just, listen, this is the principle, you know, and this is what you need chiropractic care, you and your family forever. Okay. So what I started learning is that the world is being programmed to sickness beliefs, to believe they have beliefs on sickness, which means that there are germs that they're out there ready to attack you and eat you. And amazingly, we chiropractors, we don't deny that. They're germs, they're viruses, they're part of nature, but we have the big idea. What's the big idea? That we have a resistance force, a centrifugal force that coming from the inside out that is defending you all the time. That was your innate intelligence and it's to be turned on because if it's not on, now you're in trouble. Okay, you are in disharmony. Okay, so we need to work on those kind of principles because if you ask your patients when they start coming in for the first time, you see they on tons of medications. Okay, why they taking tons of medications? Because they've been brainwashed that that's the way to be. Okay, and we all know that the third leading cause of death right now is medications prescribed, legal medications. And they're almost coming to be number two to pass cancer. They probably are, but we just don't, they don't put it on the media. Okay, so they do have some sickness beliefs. Okay, so what do? We start giving them some cure beliefs. Okay, to make them understand that no one can cure them but themselves. That within themselves they have an innate intelligence. They have the bigness of the fellow within, which needs to be as clear as possible. And that's the reason why we check for subluxations. That's the reason we adjust them when they need it, so they can be the maximum expression of their beings. Okay? So cure beliefs, and who is curing you? Nature. Nature is curing you. All these, you get all this principle that we're talking about that we need to be obedient. Okay? One is always there. Okay? And it's not going to adapt to us. We need to adapt to it. Okay? It's like gravity. Gravity will not adapt to you. You need to adapt to it at your best possible. You need to have a consciousness. You need to be conscious. And we all have that consciousness. It's a God's gift, but many of us we're not using it. Okay. For example, these people they choosing to take the vaccine. That's out of consciousness. You know, how you take something that you don't even know what it has, and they're telling you that it's going to cure you, but no, they don't even tell you it's going to cure you. They're just telling you, hey, just put it in there. Let's see what happens. It's an experiment. Why? Because that's what they're taking away their consciousness. And the same way they can take away our chiropractic consciousness if we're not aware. We must be aware. Awareness of this principle. And that's the reason why if you guys are listening to this, you want to get on fire, you want to serve your community, you want to grow your business, your practice, come to the Dynamic Essentials. It's 4 times a year in Atlanta, and immerse yourself on this principle and be out and serve people, love people is an amazing thing. It's the greatest thing. Okay. Now, number three, we have limited beliefs, right? Now, limited belief, you can use that for everything. Okay. How big is your practice? It's as big as you believe. Okay. How do you make it better? It's as you make it better as what you think is better. Okay. So, we do have, I remember when we learned about these limited beliefs, it's like one of the examples that they gave us, look at how they train an elephant, okay, to be on the circus. When they're very little, they chain the elephant and they make him walk around a tree. Okay, as the elephant is growing with that chain, when they cut the chain, that elephant will always think that that is what he has to do. That's a limited belief. But here we have an unlimited belief about innate intelligence, right? And that innate intelligence, part of this universal intelligence, is so huge. Just look at the space, look at the stars. Now, how big you want to imagine? That's how big you can have it if you start practicing with purpose. So you must use that. I mean, there's a reason why you have an imagination. There's a reason why you can visualize. Go find me one mortal animal that can visualize or can think like we do. I guess we're the only ones because we wrote the book. But I don't know. I don't know if there's any other ones. But we have that gift. Why not using it? If you can imagine, you can have it, right? Right. But you must serve and be obedient to this principle, which Dr. Dr. Sid Williams called the dynamic essential. When you become humble and obedient to the will of God, is an amazing thing. And that's why, I mean, you guys need to come back to DE and get on fire and go and serve the world that they need us big time, big time. Okay. Now, freedom beliefs. Those are your freedom beliefs. Okay. Now, to putting all these things together, to understand your freedom beliefs, we need to teach that to your patients too. Freedom belief is hope. Freedom beliefs is faith. Freedom belief is the unseen God. It's invisible, but it's everywhere. Freedom belief is that I can make it happen. Okay, and that's an above down, inside out that it will give you the understanding. Okay, so we must empower our patients because freedom believes the belief that free us, it empowers us. The unlimited belief, the limited beliefs, those are beliefs that disempower us. We don't want that. We don't want it. And you know what? Every time they give, like is if you we all have those limited beliefs, okay? And we keep it right here in our head. So become a gardener. If you're a gardener, go into your garden and get rid of the weed. The same way every day, go into your head and get rid of the weed. You need to prune it. Okay? As you start getting rid of that weed, all those negativities, All those, all those if, no, all those indecisions, all those fears that it slows you down, that stop you from being your best that you can be. You cut it, remove it, get rid of them. And as you do that, you're going to see more fruits coming into here. You get to see your practice different every day. Okay, every day you see, wow, you're going to see that unseeing God, the invisible God that is everywhere, working with you, for you, all the time. Okay, but it takes working, it takes preparation. That gardener, it took him work to do that. Okay, so again, I invite you everyone to come into Dynamic Essentials. I hope to see you guys there. I know I'm going to be speaking there on Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I can't wait to see you there. Okay. So putting all these things together, are you in chiropractic or is chiropractic in you? Just remember, whatever you see outside, okay, that you don't like it, you can change it from the inside. That's where your power comes from. Okay. And that's chiropractic. Okay. I just want you to understand that, and I want to help you as much as I can. I want to help you to believe in your dream, to believe in what you want to create. Okay. And you guys have my email there. Anytime you get in touch with me. Okay. And I hope to see you guys at DE, and keep on keeping on. And don't forget to turn on next Tuesday, because Dr. Chen Jen will be on the stage. And I think she's a wonderful chiropractor, and I appreciate that she's serving our community too. Okay. Uh, it's been a great show for me. It's been, I mean, nothing greater than to serve my profession, and help everybody. So we can keep on keeping on, as Dr. BJ Palmer would say. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.